Good to see everybody. Sorry for the wonderfully dressed attire that I'm in. It's been a little bit of a crazy week between running back and forth from the hospital to the house and trying to take care of homework for the kids and making sure everything is situated properly and things of that nature. It's been an interesting week, but to let everybody know, Mama and Baby's doing fine. Baby, compared to most of my kids, is a lot calmer, is the best way I know how to describe it. She's very, very laid back and relaxed versus my other two wonderful children who are wide open from the time that they get up. Riverland seems very, very calm. Also want to tell everybody, be safe tonight. We're supposed to have some bad weather come through, which I'm sure all of y'all know that. We've been keeping up with that pretty closely, and just make sure we all stay safe and everything is going well. I wanted us to talk for just a minute about a Bible verse that as I was reading actually last night about, well, I say last night, really this morning. It was about 2:30 in the morning, and I couldn't sleep very well, and me and River, we just kind of sat up, and I was doing some reading while I was holding her. But it was a passage found in James chapter 1 verse 19, and that particular passage is one that I can remember both of my grandparents and even my dad quoting and saying it's one of the biggest problems that we find within ourselves, is everybody feels like that they have to have an opinion without actually listening to anything that anybody else is saying. And this particular passage says to be quick to hear and slow to speak. And then it goes in talking about your actions upon that. That's something today that people seem to struggle with, because everybody wants to have an opinion. Personally, I found, whether it's doing personal work with people or whatever the case may be, if you're real quick to try to sit and try to argue with someone and act as if you're not really interested in anything that they have to say, many times you have lost that battle before it ever began. To be quick to listen is something that takes time to learn how to do. You know, it's no mistake that most problems can be resolved by simply sitting down and listening to one person's point of view to where they will listen to yours, and then go from there. Now, I'm not saying anything about compromising on what's right or wrong or what's in God's Word, but I'm saying that a lot of times we as people have a really bad tendency to want to be the first ones to say something. We build something up in our minds or whatever that case may be, and we find ourselves really being in the wrong in the way that we handled things. So I've tried to make it a goal of mine to not just say these things, but to practice these things, and to really sit down and to listen to what other people are saying. And then, after listening to it and giving it some thought before I say something. James later goes on and writes talking about the tongue. And in talking about the tongue, he references it as many different things, but one of the things that always caught my attention was he references it as a fire. And he says what large capabilities you have in a small fire to turn it into a large fire. And I'm not reading anything as I'm writing this, and that's a little bit of it. And I'm also going on a little bit of lack of sleep. So if I seem like I'm stuttering or dragging, I've slept about 6 or 7 hours in the last couple of days, so I'm running a little bit low on sleep as well. But that's all what you kind of expect with everything that's been going on. But that particular passage, as James was writing that, as most of you know, I deal a lot with woodlands fires. And I deal a lot with it because it's a lot of what my job entails, really, from about the middle of January going up into April and May is a lot of what we do is controlled burns, whether it be several hundred acres, as much 1,500 plus acres. All that is stuff that I've done and been a part of. But these large fires that we have, and I've got videos of some quite large fires, and of all those large fires that we have had going, all starts with a small one. When we were talking about being slow to react, or quick to listen and slow to speak, sometimes the things that you say, people do not think very much about what's coming out of their mouth that it's already escaped. And the thing about words is, once they've already escaped or once they're out, you can't get them back. You can't just pretend like you didn't say the things that you said. They're already out there. So a little bit of a challenge I want for each and every one of us to work on is to take a little bit of time and listen to what people are saying and think about the responses that we make before we just blurt something out. Because once you let something out, you can't put it back. I hope everybody has a safe night. Everybody, as I said before, the weather and all coming through, and I'm fixing to head back up to the hospital. I just got through doing some homework and stuff with the kids and getting everybody packed up and ready to go for tomorrow. And I got kids in all sorts of different places at the moment, but hopefully tomorrow the baby will get to come home and I'll finally get to sleep in my own bed and instead of a hospital chair. And as I said before, baby and mama are doing absolutely wonderful, and we're truly blessed. And I hope each and every one of you have an absolutely blessed night. God bless.